Just 20 years ago, Ireland was the poor relation of Europe. But billions of EU structural and cohesion funds were being pumped into the country to achieve a convergence of living standards between Ireland and the EU. Boy, did that work. Today, President of Ireland, Michael D. Higgins, gets a salary of €250,000. That's 94,000 more than the President of France, a country with 14 times our population. The presidential salary scale sets the tone for the upper tier of the Irish public service and political class, who collectively pocket salaries which are amongst the highest in the world. But how can that be, one might ask? What about the IMF bailout? Surely Ireland, along with Greece, Spain, Portugal and Cyprus, became the basket case economies of Europe. That may well be the case, but the publicly funded classes in Ireland, including politicians, have the edge over logic and common sense, with their unswerving belief in the crock of gold at the end of the rainbow. The short-lived Celtic Tiger and property bubble functioned on fantasy money. Politicians and bureaucrats took to the concept like ducks to water. They racked up dramatic pay increases for themselves between 2003 and 2006. After the crash, powerful public service unions, whose own senior officials earn way over €100,000, have ensured that super high salaries have remained virtually unchanged despite the collapse of the economy. The question is, how long can the fantasy money theory last? Can Ireland continue to borrow $1 billion a month to bridge the gap between income and expenditure ad infinitum? Not unless you believe in the fairies and perpetual motion, as apparently politicians and public service unions do. In reality, there are now two Irelands. One is comprised of those who are paid from the public purse. The other is comprised of just about everybody else in the country. Latest figures from the Central Statistics Office show public service workers earn on average 50% more than the private sector. Well, the self-employed can't pay their bills with fantasy money. Employers can't pay workers with fantasy money. Suppliers can't supply materials for fantasy money. You can't put diesel in your car or food on the table with fantasy money. The taxman won't accept fantasy money. The bank won't take fantasy money to pay your mortgage. So, how long more can this fantasy money economy last before the whole house of cards comes crashing down? Nobody can tell us. Economists don't understand it. It's like living in La La Land, where billions and trillions float around the clouds like clouds in the sky. The only people who can siphon it into their accounts in tens and hundreds of thousands are politicians and top people in the public service, who plunder the national exchequer to line their own pockets. Oh, Ireland, Mother Ireland, wake up from this nightmare. Grant ordinary people the courage to rise up from their knees, run for elections, and take over the running of this country before it's too late.